Hi everyone, can you believe it? We're done with another book. This is our last part. And can you believe it that you're going to be fifth graders? Oh my gosh, it makes me want to cry. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this book. I know some of you guys like the poetry and some of you do not, but it's something that you should be exposed to, and it's just kind of a cool way to write. And if you were in my office hours and you saw me read The Black Cat by Christopher Myers, the whole book, it's a whole book written with beautiful pictures and no punctuation. So see, if you want to write a book, maybe you'll be a poet so that you can do a book with no punctuation, which I know most of you don't like to remember. Anyway, you guys, congratulations on finishing and doing what you're doing. Have a great next 2 days. I will miss you, and this will be up here for you to listen to whenever you want. Anyway, here we go. So the last part of Hate That Cat. May 2nd. Thank you, thank you, thank you for showing me all the books of cat poems and all the books that tell a story in poems. I never knew a writer could do that, tell a whole story in poems. I already read the one by Mr. Robert Cormier, Alive? And the next, and the next by my bed is the Dust book by, by Miss Karen Hess. Alive? And underneath that one is Essie and Amber, one by Miss Vera B. Williams. Alive? And on my bulletin board is a list you gave me of so many poets whose books I can read. And also on my bulletin board is the funny poem picture of the cat chair by Chris Rashka. Alive? And that poem by Mr. Lee Bennett Hopkins. Alive? I'm about growing up to be a writer. I now have a treasure of words in my room. May 5th. Silent Sounds of Mom, inspired by Mr. Edgar Allan Poe by Jack. See her hands in the air, waving here and waving there. What flickering formations those compositions dare. How she sings in a swish and a bound, bringing sound, sound, sound to the silence of the air and the silent tubulation of a hush and the hums of the air, 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 and the humming and the hushing of the air. May 9th, Poets' Day. It was a grandulicious finding pictures of so many poets and putting them in the classroom, on our classroom. All those poets looking back at us, and beside them, some of their poems, so many words and images in our heads. And although I wish they were all alive, and that Dwayne hadn't written dead next to the dead ones, where the words are all still there waiting for someone to read them in the infallible, effable words and thrumming like purring in our heads. May 16th. Love That Cat, inspired by Mr. Walter Dean Myers by Jack. Love that cat like a bird loves to twitter. I said, I love that cat like a bird loves to twitter. Love to call her in the morning. Love to call her, hey there, Skitter McKitter. May 19th. That fat black cat has been coming to our back door, she says, as if asking a question. I pour milk in a bowl, and that fat black cat slurps, and then sits back staring at me with her tail slapping slowly on the ground. Shk, shk, skitters up and leaps forward, her front paws occasionally landing in the bowl, and the fat black cat licks the top of Skitter's head, and then turns and saunters away, apparently satisfied. May 23rd. Thank you for saying more nice things about me to my parents last night. When we read our poems at school, my mother doesn't usually come to these things because she can't hear what's going on, but when you said I could sign for her, this was what she signed it to me. I love Miss Stretchberry. And although I was embarrassed to stand up in front of everyone and sign all those words for my mother, too many eyes on me, and it was very hard to keep up with everyone speaking so fast. When I saw my mother's face, it felt good to me. It felt good to me. It felt good to me. June 5th. This is just to say, I will listen for you. I will hear all the sounds in the world, all the delicious, ineffable, effable sounds, all the thrumming and humming and the tintinnabulating sounds. I will hear all the sounds in the world, and I will write them down so you can hear them too. And that's the end. So Jack started not really liking poetry, and in the end, he even had all these authors he wanted to look up. So I hope that this inspires you a little bit. You know, you've got your whole summer to read things, go online. Look up some of these poetry books, or if you need suggestions, send me a message, and I'd be glad to help you find some books. I love poetry, and I left a bunch of my poetry books in the classroom. So um, but let me know if you're interested in something. We've got all summer. I'm not going anywhere. So, you guys, congratulations on becoming a fifth grader. All right. Bye. Love you.